to all of you all who have joined in and who are still joining in. Today's topic is sustainable lifestyle and how we look at sustainable living. Sustainability has become the future, and we're happy to say that it has surely become a necessity. Visible is just a concept or a topic of discussion, unlike the past. A reflection into our stories of lockdown has made each one of us appreciate the simple living with special focus on conserving and using wisely. Today's e-panel discussion is a part of the whole 21-day challenge we hope we've been talking about, we've been broadcasting on our portals, and it is one of the events which is a part of the 21-day challenge. We also hope that we have loads of thoughts that are shared today, and we get a lot of reflections by the end of it. Today, we aim to discuss the present situation of sustainable living and how we look at it in changing times. I would, of course, like to begin by thanking the Swedish Consulate of based in Mumbai, Swedish Institute, and also Sustain and Save, our partners. This is Pranati Shroff, the chair of the Swedish Institute Maharashtra and Goa chapter. So this is a chapter base of all the alumni members of the Swedish Institute, or who have either studied or lived in Sweden and now are back home. So we have around 6 chapters in India, and we do various activities around the year. And the 21-day challenge that is being done with the consulate is one of the activities of the Swedish Institute along with the alumni. To begin, would like to thank also the Kerala chapter who's participating in full josh in the whole 21-day challenge. I would like to introduce our panelists for today. So before I begin, I would request everybody to be on mute and put their videos off throughout the session. If you all have any questions, we're happy to take them at the end of the session, or you can put them in the chat and I'll be happy to ask them to the various panelists. Today, we have with us Anna Leckwer, the Consulate General of Sweden, Mumbai, Dr. Bikas Chaudhary, who's a consultant and a researcher on nanotechnology for solar energy at IIT Mumbai, Gopika Pawar, Sustainability Business Partner, IKEA India, Gurmeet Singh Arora, National President, Indian Plumbing Association, and he's also the National President of CII IGBC. He's the Managing Director of Rachco Group, which is into manufacture of copper tubes and fittings. He joined the Green Building Movement in 2001 and has been a part of it through its inception. So he's been a pioneer in the Green Building Movement in our country. We also have Dr. Rashni N. Partiwal, founder and director of Center for Environmental Research and Education, CERE. I would like to begin the discussion with a small opening remark from Anna.
I'm very excited to see you all. And thank you also, I would like to say to all our panelists here for, I think it will be a very interesting discussion and where we can share a lot of important issues at this time. And for enabling this very interesting session to take place at this time. I think it's a very timely opportunity to talk more about sustainability living now, where we are in a very challenging time, and but also time for reflection and looking ahead. As Pranati was saying, we have at the consulate together with the Swedish alumni we're actually in the middle of it, towards the second week of a complete third week challenge that is a concept developed by the Swedish Institute. It's called the 7-day challenge, but it's 3 different parts. So all in all becomes a 21-day challenge. And it's really a call to action to unite all people around the globe really to practice sustainable lifestyles. And it does this in 3 areas. It's in living, in moving, and in eating sustainably. And those are the 3 different sets, and they're each practiced on a 7-day basis. And it's really a way to inspire, to engage people, to look at this from several angles. Obviously, locally, what we do in Liv, for example, we looked at for the past week. It's been everything from recycling to family bonding, mental health issues, and in the move, of course, it's been a lot of physical movement from Zumba to yoga. And what I really thought was very exciting, we had the home plugging, where you tidy and exercise at the same time. So it's a way to just engage, call people to action on this, do have fun, while we're also doing something very important. Think about the sustainable lifestyles we have. Next week will be more about eating sustainably. That's going to be very exciting. I think so far, it's actually a challenge it's a concept that's been around for a while, but now we do the more quarantine edition. The fact that we are in this COVID-19 era, we're all, more at, we're staying at home, staying safe, and it's both an opportunity to stay healthy in that situation, but also a way, of course, to reflect about this and to maybe have a conversation about how can we improve our lifestyles to be more sustainable. I'm also just happy to say about this challenge. It's been a wonderful response. All the collaborators have put a lot of wonderful energy into this and really pulling it together. And we've had at least 500 people in Mumbai and Pune participating, engaging, and we've had a lot of very positive feedback on the initiative as such, in promoting health, staying positive in this lockdown situation, as well as starting conversations and actions on sustainable living. So I think that's really both the objective and the very nice engagement around it in a both fun and playful manner, as well as a very important topic. So that's really the thing. I think I can talk more later about Sweden. I think you all who are part of this conversation know Sweden is very, very serious about sustainability. It's one of the countries in the world that has come the farthest and have the most ambitious goals on everything from living with renewable energy, being fossil free. We're a global leader in waste management, circular economy, on these things. Take it very seriously. We also want to both share our experiences, but we also want to just engage, learn more, develop. There's a ton of things we need to do. And this is part of our key core mission here in Mumbai and in India, to really engage with all the amazing energy I find to be here about sustainability. And I think there is a lot happening. There's a lot that needs to be done. And I'm just very happy to be part and continue to support that conversation together with all our partners. If I go back to one of the takeaways from the COVID experience, which you were also raising before, Rashna, is the incredibly, the enormous steps we're taking towards being able to meet in video conferencing, and the possibilities that means for reducing transport in so many ways. I think it's a big leap on people's digitalization, and digitalization itself is really one of the big solutions for more sustainable living. And so, I mean, that's a very concrete, practical living, practical experience and learning that we're all sort of forced into. And I think that has great potential on a very, very practical level. But other things, I don't want to take up much time. I really want other people to be able to come in here. I think I just want to put one message out there, and this has been, I've been very excited about this, the talks here, about all the inputs, the green buildings. I'm very impressed. I won't comment it all. When it comes to where we're going, what we're seeing in the future, and it goes for Sweden as a whole, as well as our very concrete engagement here in Mumbai and the states that we work with, which is in Gujarat, Maharashtra, and Goa, is a very strong push to work on sustainable business and industry. It's coming from all through our government and our businesses in Sweden, as well as, there's very strong presence of Swedish companies in Maharashtra. We have about 100 companies who've been here, and many of them for up to 60 years, and new ones coming in. And they also bring with them a lot of Swedish, sustainable practice, and also the engagement in practicing this more. But as a whole, there is a lot of effort that's saying we want to come out of this experience with a stronger push.
To begin with, actually, my experience in Sweden started when I went there for my PhD, and way back in 2010. So in the first day when I was traveling from Arlanda airport and to Stockholm city, where I supposed to be based on, and I saw it's
Nice.
it is very the country, the city is very close to nature, and I am very much impressed with that, and I suppose that is the one of the main key ingredient of sustainability. So then with time I experienced their very convenient public transport system to move around. And in fact, I was very much impressed to see their public transport website. It's called scel.sc. It shows actually, if you give a destination, origin and destination, it shows how much you can save in terms of carbon emission if you are going by public transport rather than your own vehicle. And that actually really motivate people to take public transport. That's a very good example. And due to very convenient this public transport system, I hardly see any of my colleagues taking their own car or taxis. All travel by this public transport. And and also this all buses there, they mostly use biodiesel. That's a very good example actually for the sustainability. And another thing I have realized that throughout the city there is a bicycle lane. So if somebody want almost like a 25 kilometers, they can bicycle to their office. In fact, I myself I travel like daily 8 kilometers to come to my office. And and almost 8 months in a year, and of course like 4 months there are lots of snows, and also you cannot all the time do them like cycle, you have to anyway to the public transport. So and then another thing is that the classification of household waste material, that is actually it's like a cultural shock for me going from India. And you have to not only segregate dry and waste material, but then you have to segregate the dry to like plastic, metal, and also to like glass, and also like electronic equipment in separate way, and to make it very convenient for recycling. And of course, all supermarket, I found you can there are recycle unit. Okay, you can drop your can or this bottle, plastic bottle, glass bottle, everything, and in return you will get some coupon, and you can use that to buy your essentials. And actually that's also a good way to encourage people for recycling or going for the sustainable life. And they have very robust system of recycling, and so very little goes for the landfilling. Waste material go for landfilling, and actually it is not very well researched, but the landfilling is give rise to methane, which is one of the greenhouse gases. It's quite quite significant actually. In particularly countries like our country, like Asian country, like India, there's lots of waste material goes for landfilling, and that gives rise to the emission of methane. So that's and also Sweden is a very innovative country, and I think one of the top innovative country in the European Union or throughout the world actually. And that they have used innovation through the very good practice for renewable energy, other sustainable development. In fact, I was part of some pan-European project and also some Swedish project which work on the increasing efficiency of photovoltaic solar cell. So we got some good result as well. And talking about the innovation, I would like to share a very simple example of innovation in Sweden. So there is one Swedish dairy company. It's called Arla. It's a quite huge company. It's called Arla. So we all know that milk need to be pasteurized at 70 degrees Celsius. Okay, it needs to heat up and then immediately it to cool down, like around to 4 degrees or something. So normally what happens when you cool down, the heat goes wasted. So it is of no use. So in the Arla's plant, what they do, they run some district water heating this pipeline, this water pipeline, very close to that milk pipeline, so that there will be heat exchange between this warm milk and cold water. So and then this water get heated, and you can use that energy actually. And this small step of sustainability or small sort of saving energy can go a long way in saving the earth or reducing the emission. And also, I think Sweden think a lot ahead, like the 50 years they plan, like what will happen. And if they do some new construction or something, they would think about like 50 years ahead, what will happen in the 50 years down the line. So that's all together. It's a very good experience I had, and it's nice. And yeah, so yeah.
We have with us Gopika Pawar. She is the sustainability head at IKEA. Gopika, if you could share and given your thoughts on how IKEA is looking at sustainability from a company perspective, or talks about circularity, people, homes, furniture, and how IKEA looks at these initiatives.
It is a very good way to start with how, Vikas spoke about Sweden. And we identify with Sweden, right? IKEA identifies with Sweden. I think, if you see our consumer base, it's 1 million visitors in the IKEA store every year, and approximately 2 billion if you see the website and all. Okay. Keeping that in mind, IKEA is a vision-driven company. So just to tell for the audience to know, the vision of IKEA is to create better everyday life for the many. And when it comes to creating better everyday life for many, IKEA consumes a lot of materials. Okay. And when it comes to consumption of a lot of material, it becomes imperative to be sustainable. And that's driving, our inspiration from the vision of creating better life for the many. We develop products which can be used, reused, recycled, circular, and avoid landfilling. Right from the sourcing, we look at the entire value chain to the end life of the product at the customer's home. That is how we look at circularity. Given that in 2012, IKEA launched a sustainability strategy, which is called the People and Planet Positive Strategy. So sustainability for us is not restricted only to the planet or to the nature, but it extends to the people as well. So if you look at the economy and the progress that is happening in the world, the population is increasing, and as the consumption is increasing, people changing of their economic life and becoming more and more consumption based. So IKEA, through this People and Planet Positive strategy, has like an activist and probably I would say as a forward-looking company, we try and we have succeeded a lot in certain aspects to bring this mass consumption to mass circularity. So that is how the sustainability strategy works. We work with the mindset of serving the more and more people to make their life better, and then business happens in the bargain. So that's how we look at sustainability. So to elaborate a little bit on sustainability or the people and science policy strategy, we have 3 change drivers. It's not just for our business, but for the planet and the people. We call it healthy and sustainable living is the first focus area, the change driver. Second one is being circular and climate positive. And third one is being fair and equal. So that is how, we those 1 billion and 2 billion people visiting IKEA at the store, at the website to, adopt a sustainable lifestyle. Through our products, through our solutions, and through making them aware about how are everything sourced, how can each and every product of IKEA can be recycled. All products in IKEA are sustainable, and they are more than just being green. So when you design a product at IKEA, and sustainability being in our DNA, all of us, all our co-workers, and our IKEA customers become activists when it comes to carbon footprint. So maybe go to IKEA website and look at Carafe Stopper glass bottle. It is IKEA 365 blockchain. So I was just talking about how a product is designed. So I would ask the audience, being one of the customers, I think we resonate, and that is where IKEA as an activist comes. We design products based on something called a democratic design, where every product, first we look into the customer's home. We go actually visit, open their almiras and look at the kitchen and see what they want, and how the function comes in. So the 5 pillars of this democratic design are like function, then form, so it has to look good, it has to be sustainable, and it has to be affordable. So it has to be at a very low price. And that is how, again, we adhere to our vision, which is a better everyday life for the many. So making sustainability affordable is the change that we try to bring in. Now coming to the IKEA Better Living app. So what is this Better Living app? If you Google, you'll understand that this is a kind of inspiration brought in for the present day generation, the app generation. I myself use a lot of apps. So this is a way to support what Vikas just said, that how to understand that what is the impact that me as a person and me as a family is making on the environment, and to support what Gurmeet said, that how to reduce that footprint. How can I use a gas stove to an induction house, and if my is coming from a renewable source? So how does that happen? So that is what is the IKEA Better Living app. Let me tell you, mass production is the key to become sustainable, and IKEA allows the mass production. Plus, the solutions allow us to become, as customers also, to personalize our article. So as I see it, if a person goes to Mart, he has to choose between the option that the person has and stick to it. But in IKEA, you can take the same article that you like and make it personalized. So that is the fun part of IKEA Better Living app.
I think
COVID, India Inc. has a major role to play in shaping a new world economy and really building new models of development and growth, which is essentially not environmentally extractive, exploitative, and unsustainable. And I think this is a great opportunity for Indian companies and business houses to lead. And because finally, I think in this COVID crisis, we have realized that you cannot do business on a sick or a dead planet. So how do companies really go about truly institutionalizing sustainability, and how do they promote and practice sustainability? How can this be done? I think first and foremost, companies in India need to acknowledge their impact. And I'm not talking about the top 100 companies in the country. Every company, be it a small, mid-size or large company, whether it is a service sector company, whether it is a manufacturing company, I think every company needs to undertake their environmental audit. I think a comprehensive environmental audit needs to be done so that they realize, what is my water footprint? What is my carbon footprint? What is my energy footprint? Once you know what the baseline impact of your operations is, I think only then can we start taking positive steps. So the next step after documenting and quantifying your impact, it would then be developing a very concrete strategy on how do you start mitigating your impact. And I think companies need to move beyond just a simple sustainability report. It is making them accountable even as far as being a compliance standard. So for example, let's look at water. So every company, for every million liters of water that it consumes, it should support rainwater harvesting projects that will recharge our surface water levels, that will recharge our groundwater aquifers. And they need to be responsible so that they either become water positive or at least, they are not so extractive. We can look at energy. Again, the same thing. Start looking at how much energy you consume in terms of electricity, in terms of fossil fuels through transportation. And I know progressive companies have taken a very hard stand, and especially now in the times of COVID. I think any business meeting that is less than 2 hours should only be done through video conferencing. Any face-to-face meeting that is required below 500 kilometers in a city, start taking public transport and trains when they open. I think corporate travel needs to be reduced, and that would be a great way where companies can start reducing their energy footprint. If you also look at their carbon footprint, I think for every metric ton of carbon that a company puts out into the atmosphere, they need to grow so many more native trees. And I do not think sustainability can only be spoken about in terms of reports. I think this needs to be very much part of compliance. And very often I think, the sort of losses that the world has seen, the way the economy has tanked, the losses that every company has seen, if those losses, even a fraction of that was truly invested in sustainability measures before COVID, how much less would our impact have been? I mean, these are questions that companies really need to introspect, think about, because there are concrete steps that they can take. And I think companies really need to overhaul the way they do business. It cannot go back to, business as usual. Let us tap into our capital, which is really the environment. I think this lockdown would have been a great opportunity for companies to realign their business practices, really look at the triple bottom line. And I'm talking about all companies. Very often it's only the big daddies who are practicing and can afford to practice environmental sustainability. The smaller companies are not. It's not even in their realm of thinking. And for them, it's like our main focus has always been shareholders. It needs to move beyond. The conversation needs to move to stakeholders. It needs to move to people. It needs to move to planet. It can't be restricted just to profit, because we can see how quickly an economy can really shut down and how quickly we can move into recession in a matter of a few months. So I think companies must start institutionalizing environmental sustainability in truly spirit as well. And a lot of companies are doing that, but I think where we fall short as a country are the smaller companies, the mid-range companies, who really haven't thought about long-term impact. I think the development model in India has to be more inclusive. And the government, of course, has a major role to play in that. For example, I think if every industry could have been looked at by the government and studied and seen how can that industry be realigned to be in sync with nature. So, for example, let's look at the agriculture sector. Now, so many reforms have been brought in and so many SOPs have been given. So in agriculture, instead of giving SOPs for chemical fertilizers, it would have been far better if organic agriculture can be promoted. If improve the market linkages between farmers and consumers, start greening every sector, be it the hospitality sector, be it automobile, be it aviation. I think every industry, as Gurmeet has mentioned, the building industry has started its journey, and you've got the green building guidelines. I think every industry needs to be realigned. To be more in sync with nature, it needs to be less extractive. I think government can also play a role as far as helping polluting units realign. For example, in India, we were not producing any PPEs before COVID, but very quickly we could ramp up production, and today over 2 lakh PPEs are being produced. So, and sugar refineries are now producing more hand sanitizers because they have access to ethanol, methanol, alcohol. So I think polluting industries can again, with the help of government, be realigned and let us move away from polluting industries.
So we have with us Gurmeet sir, who's great at this, been there. He's working in the environmental sector, the building per se, or the built environment for the last, since 2001, and very passionate about it, to talk about what would be a building's role in the whole sustainable living perspective or sustainable lifestyle.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about IGBC, if I'm permitted to say that, Pranati. We started in 2001, and our target that time was 1 billion square feet, 1 square feet for every person in India. The first building that we built, the Green Building Center in Hyderabad, costed us 18% more. Today, green buildings are costing us nearly the same as a conventional building, or maybe 1 to 2% more, because most of the Green Pro certified products, which I'll speak about later, are also made in India. At present, we have a green footprint stock of 7.16 billion square feet. We are the second largest green building council in the world, with an aspiration to become #1 by 2022 when India turns 75. Right now, the US is much bigger in its green footprint, but IGBC has an aspiration to become the biggest green building council in the world. Now, having said that, IGBC is responsible for CO2 reduction of 12,000 tons per annum per million square feet of green footprint being built today, water saving of 45,000 kiloliters per annum per million square feet, construction waste recycled about 450 tons per annum per million square feet, and energy saving of 15,000 megawatt per annum per million square feet. So there's a lot of saving in green buildings. Now, when you spoke to me, asked me about health and well-being, basically you spend approximately 80% of your life, 80 to 90% of your life in buildings. So if buildings are not healthy living spaces, certainly you are going to have a lot of health problems. The IGBC came out with the health and well-being building rating system, and this is an important step towards understanding the relationship between the occupant's wellness and the built environment. This encourages people-centric design to strengthen areas of comfort, safety, health, productivity, and enhancing overall quality of life. Now, I'll tell you, we have the Paharpur Green Building Center in Delhi, in Nehru Place. The occupants there are tested for blood pressure, they are tested for sugar levels, they are tested for a wide range of medical ailments every 6 months, and you find that their levels are much, much lower than the levels in the neighboring building, just the next building, because it's not a building certified as a healthy or a well-being building. IGBC's health and well-being rating holistically addresses various aspects. It improves indoor air quality, it improves the benefits, way people feel, the way they function. I have had lots of friends with platinum rated green buildings with health and well-being, where they have to look at the watch and they say, oh, it's 7 o'clock, we have to go home now. You don't feel that tiredness, you don't feel the effect of working the whole day because your indoor air quality is so much better. Now, this rating that we are talking about includes important aspects of fresh air, ventilation, where measurements take place of CO2, carbon monoxide, PM 2.5. We all read about it in the newspaper. O3, TBOC, formaldehydes, SO2, NO2. And these are to name a few of the tests that we do. This is based on the ISHRAE 10001-2016 standard. And this focuses on the critical areas of contamination and microbial count control with reduction of indoor emissions. So this is what the health and well-being, which is becoming very famous. We have a lot of projects now certified with this. And we are encouraging this because it improves not only your health, it improves your response time, it improves your motor abilities. Now, you'll be shocked that there are some IT companies where they have found the productivity to go up by 25%. We have had hospitals where the recovery rates have been faster by about 20% compared to a hospital which is not certified. So this is what I wanted to speak to you. So it's very, very important to have proper, healthy living spaces so that this helps in all our, it helps in our productivity, it helps in sustainability.
I'd like to thank Gurmeet sir, Rashni, Anna, Gopika, Vikas, all of you all for joining us today. I'll also like to thank Sustain and Save, who've been our partners for the 21-day challenge, which is a knowledge and resource inspiration platform on sustainability, promoting ideas, green products, and initiatives. Their punchline is, be the change, not the problem. So a special thank you to them for making this whole 21-day challenge and today's webinar possible. They've been working behind the scene to get everything going. So I thank everybody for joining in today, being there, and making it a grand success. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.